What if I told you joy isn't a weakness, but rather joy is resistance? But most importantly, what if I told you joy is the actual strategy? See, most people think that joy is an afterthought. They don't even think about it, that it's a bonus. Something that you just sprinkle on your hard work after the grind, after the battle. But what if we all along had it backwards? What if joy is how you actually win the battle? See, we live in a culture that seems to reward exhaustion, grind every day, and treat seriousness like some badge of honor. Joy becomes one of the most countercultural things that someone could actually choose. Don't believe me? Go to any video on the interwebs, on the tickety talks, where someone's just out there having fun, enjoying themselves. Go to the comments. Look how many people are questioning that or upset about it or just trying to find something quote unquote weird about it. Because, see, joy isn't about ignoring the reality. And guess what? We got a lot of reality going on in today's world. But it's about grounding yourself in something more powerful than the circumstances that you may find yourself in. Joy is the strategy, and that's what I want to talk about today. And welcome back, guys, to the Emmanuel Dr. EG3 podcast. I'm Emmanuel George, but most people call me Dr. EG3 around here. And I'm really glad that you're here because today's episode is something that I try and I'm still working on figuring out for myself. We're going to talk about why joy, and I'm talking real joy, not like the fake it till you make it type, isn't just fluff. It's not soft. It isn't a reward. Joy is the strategy. It's the energy that you need. It's the way of being that helps you to sustain what you're building, who you are, who you becoming, and enjoy the things that you already have. So let's jump into it. Now, I find myself always able to know internally when the end of the semesters are coming at work. By the end of the semester, I've gotten everything really on autopilot. I've got the schedule, I've got the routines, the practices, the going to class, the coming home, the cooking of the dinners, the workout, and everything seems to be working and everything is always technically good. You know, the family's doing what they need to do. Work is working. I believe I'm showing up the way that I need to. But I can tell inside that there's just like a little bit of an edge or a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of irritation. Not necessarily blowing off the handle, but I can tell inside that some things are a little bit more irritable. And part of what makes it actually worse is I usually don't recognize it as quickly as I should. Because I never really find myself at a full breakdown. It becomes subtle. And I think sometimes we ignore the subtleties, the warning signs that let us know that we're moving emotionally, physically, spiritually, in a way that's maybe untoward of how we want to be. It's almost like a slow leak that you don't quite know what's happening. And I remember one evening where my youngest was, hey, can we sit down and play this game? Don't know if it was Hungry Hippos or something that she wanted to play. And I hesitated. And I was like, not tonight. I got a lot going on. And I realized it was a Friday evening and, I could have taken a few moments. And just like that, that's when it hit me. I was letting the schedule, the routine, and I was letting joy in life become negotiable. I was pushing it off. The very thing I said I wanted most, presence, laughter, family time, hanging with them, was slipping through my fingers because I was too caught up in trying to keep all the other things together, the washing of the dishes and the laundries and stuff. So I remember as I was laid out, now I wish I was a better guy. I wish this story was like, in that moment I changed. No, I could tell you I didn't. We continued with the routine that evening. And I put the girls down and I was talking to my wife. And I remember as I was laying down, trying to drift off to sleep, I remember making that decision of I was going to do it different that weekend. That Saturday, I actually did something that I kind of got out of routine. And it's something so simple, guys. I hadn't done it in a while. Like as I was doing all of the other things to keep things together, I didn't schedule fun. So what I did was when I created my schedule, because I normally try to make my schedule at the very least on Sundays for the week ahead to dial into my weekly schedule. But I remember that Saturday after, I woke up and did my thing early in the morning before everyone got up. And I looked at my schedule to schedule fun. I literally made my to-do list, made my schedule, blocked off time on my calendar to when I was going to check out that new album, where I was going to find some time for myself, scheduled in a date night for me and my wife. If I could be honest with you guys, it wasn't that same week because then I needed a babysitter and stuff like that and schedule. So, but at least I scheduled it, right? I made sure that I scheduled the things that were just for me. Because the truth is, if you don't schedule it, if you don't plan it, it doesn't happen. And ever since then, I just make sure that every time I create my schedule, I'm ensured that there's some things for me on my schedule. Now, before you guys throw tomatoes at me, that's not to say that I don't enjoy the conversations that I have with the girls as we're going to practice or dropping them off or hanging with the individuals that I get to connect with. It's not me saying any of that. But if you are feeling or experiencing what we will call times of burnout, frustration, you just don't have that edge that you feel you did, I encourage you, go look at your schedule. You're not doing enough things for you. You are not filling that cup that you are pouring out into so many other areas of your life. And it's easy to just say it's the responsibilities, it's the family, it's my job, it's my coworkers, it's my boss. And guess what? They may all be contributors. But you know what's most likely contributing? Is that you're not taking the responsibility. You're not taking the initiative to ensure that you are working to fill your cup as well. You are not scheduling things that are necessary for you. You are not setting the boundaries that would allow yourself to be protected from the onslaught of the other things. Well, Emmanuel, it sounds like you just want me to be irresponsible and not do the things that are necessary to keep my life going. No, on the contrary. I want you to do all of those things. But I also want you to include things that nurture you. And you know what I'm talking about, because sometimes the things that you need to nurture yourself, they don't take nearly as much time as you think. How about this? Just something simple. What if you were just to get up 15 minutes earlier where you can sit by yourself, have some time with your journal or maybe your prayer time, or to zen out and meditate before your day gets going? Or how about you schedule that little coffee break with that friend of yours that you've been meaning to connect with? Life has a lot that's going on. And we get so caught up in our schedules, we're just not doing the things that we need to do. But I encourage you, before I start teaching about this, I think you guys need to identify what are the things that you need to do to ensure that you are able to have some joy in your life. Is that, is it a spa day? Is it getting your nails done? Is it going to get your hair cut? Is it going to get a massage? How about this? Is it going hiking? It's about you finding time for yourself and then making sure you're scheduling it so that you can nurture and fill your cup. Now, as we jump into the teaching today, I want to have, effectively 4 points that I want to make today about the topic of joy. As the strategy is, the first point is joy is not the result that we're looking for. It's a resource. See, we've been trained to believe that joy comes after. It comes after the project, come after the crisis, it comes after the win. But here's the reality. Here's the truth. If you wait for joy, if you put it off, you may never experience it. Joy isn't something that shows up at the finish line. It's what gives you the strength to keep running the race in the first place. It's the fuel, it's the oxygen, it's the sustenance. See, you don't need more hours in a day, even though I can tell you, I know it feels like it. You need more energy in the hours that you actually have. And joy gives you that energy. Now, I'll give one example. Have you ever noticed when you have something to look forward to after work, you work so efficient, you work so energetic so that you can get off on time? Have you ever noticed that? It's giving you the boost, the energy, the focus, the efficiency because you aren't focused as much on the thing that's the present because you're excited about the what comes next. So scheduling that joy is the resource of energy that you need to get through the things. Now, the second point is joy is how you stay connected to who you are. It's very easy to forget yourself in the midst of all the responsibilities and the things that you have to do. You become a title, you become a role, or how about this? You just become a function or a cog in a big machine, and you slowly start to lose that spark, that part of you that's actually you. You just become the role. You feel like the person that just ushers kids back and forth to practice. You feel like you're just sitting there, robotic, same thing, day in, day out. But joy brings you back. The things that make you laugh, the moments that light you up, the spaces where, you know what I'm talking about, where you enjoy them and it feels as though time slows down, where you may not have spent a whole lot of time, but it feels like you've been doing it forever. You just get lost in the things that you enjoy. That's you returning home to yourself. So I just want you to know, joy just isn't a feeling. It's you getting into the thing that we've been talking about, alignment. A reminder that you're not here just to perform or produce. You are here to live. Number 3, joy counteracts burnout, most importantly, when you schedule it. See, burnout doesn't just come from doing too much. I believe burnout comes from doing too little of what restores you. Fun can't be an afterthought. Well, Emmanuel, I got a whole bunch of responsibilities and things to do. It's fine. Not doubting any of that. But fun has to be built in on purpose. Think about it. You schedule your meetings, you schedule your deadlines, you schedule your project time, you even schedule workouts because you got to be healthy, and you schedule when you got to get the water done. But why not joy? You need something on your calendar that reminds you what it feels like to be alive. So give yourself permission to plan fun without guilt, because burnout doesn't hit as hard when joy is a part of your rhythm, not just a reward. Think of it. Imagine if you had a cup that would always replenish itself. You drink your waters, you set it down, and when you come back, it's filled again. Drink the water, set it down, it gets filled again. That's effectively what scheduling joy does for you. You are allowed to have your responsibilities, do all the things that make you feel responsible, like a budding adult, but then you also have things that restore you. And obviously, the things that restore you are going to be wildly personal. That might be reading comic books. How about you tap into that creative brain you always had where you like to doodle and write stuff? How about this? Go sit under a tree. Go touch grass. Go have the spa day. Well, Emmanuel, those things are expensive. When you make them a part of your schedule, guess what you also do? Make them a part of your budget. So if you need to go get a facial, if you need to go get the massage, if you need to go to the wine tasting, those are all things that are necessary for you. Number 4 is joy strengthens your leadership presence. Now, let's be honest. Nobody wants to follow someone who's always tense, tired, tuned out, not paying attention, irritable. So joy changes the energy that you bring to the room. It makes you approachable. It makes you human. It makes you real. When you're anchored in joy, people trust you more because they can sense. I truly believe people can sense when you are not performing for them. They can sense genuineness. And I can tell you, especially in high stress roles, leadership, parenting, caregiving, your joy doesn't just serve you. It actually gives other people permission to show up whole as well. So here's your challenge. I want you to look at your calendar right now as is. And I want you to scroll through the days or the weeks or however you look at your schedule. Where's your joy? Where's the fun? Where's the play? Where's that little bit of margin that you have for yourself? Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I don't even create a schedule. Well, guess what? This might be your call too. Let's create a schedule. Well, man, it sounds like you want me to be so type A and schedule everything. No. I just want you to have an awareness as to what not only do you need to do today, but we need to do for the next week, 7 days. I'm not asking you to schedule out the next 6 months. That's not my life. I've trained myself over time that I'm able to move in 4 to 6 week blocks of like what's coming and what I'll have to do. But for you, I want you to not only get your schedule together if you don't have it, but I want you to schedule fun. I want you to schedule something that fills you up, not because you earned it, not because you checked off these other boxes, because I know sometimes that's the thing as well, is that, hey, if I knock off these things on my to-do list, then I'll do that other thing. But I want you to schedule fun because you are a human being and not a human machine. You need to light your life up and shine through beyond your work and your responsibilities. You need to do things for you. So whether it's solo time for you or family time, is it scheduling music or going out to an event or scheduling movement or brunch with your friends, or how about a friendly pickup basketball game at your local gym with some buddies? Pick one thing and protect it like your peace depends on it, because it does. So if today's episode resonated, how about this? Send it to somebody or somewhere on this page. Click subscribe, set notifications on so you know when we drop new episodes. But just make sure that you are sharing this, but most importantly, doing the work. As you know, I'm available to connect with you if you need some support or help, or if you want to just chat about this further. You could always, send me a message. Go to my website, emmanuelgeorge.com. But if you are facing some burnout, facing some challenges, I just encourage you to look. You're probably not doing many things to bring yourself some joy. And I just highly encourage you, support you to do that. Because remember, guys, joy is not an afterthought. Joy is the strategy. So I hope this helps. And as always, guys, I love you much.